I learned that not just, well, recently, not everything I do I need to apologize for because I'm trying to help someone that needs help, or I need to prove something for something else, or I have proof for something that they didn't, and I don't need to apologize anymore.
Your honest opinion. And I want to encourage yourself on the panel that a lot of the times, Black youth usually carries a filter to what they say or what they do to their face or their emotions. This is an opportunity to remove that. We want your open opinions, and thank you for being so honest with us. That was very necessary. Now, this question is for Zoe. When did the rest start feeling like guilt instead of healing?
I feel like this is something that I am on currently experience, especially in the condition of going to high school and college. And I've often used the term being like overstimulated in a sense where like I need to just look back and take care of myself. And I feel as like speaking from my experience as a Black woman, I feel like that pressure to constantly like nurture or look out for another person or look out for my younger siblings, filling roles that like were not necessarily designed for me, but I feel pressure to do so. So rest starts to honestly feel like a guilt when it's like doing little things such as wanting to sit in my room longer than, let's say I'm home at my parents' house longer than they want me to. When it's like in the same breath, I don't have to fight. I shouldn't have to feel like I have to fight and scrap for everything I have in my life. I feel like I should be able to rest. The world already is a rat race, and I feel like little things are just little self-care started to feel like I was like, do I really need to do that, or do I need those extra minutes to go do something else? Or I started implementing it in my college life, constantly, overbooking myself in multiple orgs. And like I thought the feeling of being worn down was like an accomplishment. Like, yeah, today was a lot because I did a lot. But in actuality, I was just burning myself out. And it wasn't, I had to relearn what it meant to like care for myself.
Now for Shamar. Can you truly be free while still seeking validation from systems that were never truly built for you?
I, I honestly believe that you cannot be free by seeking validation from anyone. True freedom for me comes from my Lord and Savior, and my freedom is technically not freedom. It's me knowing that I am free to do anything that I want to do and still doing what the Lord wants for me. Um, Being fit, not being able to fit in systems that were never made for me. If a system wasn't made for me, I'm not going to try to fit in it. I'm going to build my own system and allow others to fit in it if they would like to. But I don't try to fit myself into things that were not designed for me or into things that do not accept me the way I am, because I am not changing myself for anyone. I am not going to try to adjust the way I look, the way I talk, how I feel, and how I come off. I'm not doing that for anyone. And if something or anyone wants to tell me to do so, I will kind of just remove myself from that and try to build something on my own that allows me to be freely me and independently me without having to change who I am.
Okay, moving on. These next two questions are about our own shared experience. To Corey, are you healing or are you really just coping?
I had to think about this question for a long time. And I believe for a long time I was just coping. Learning how to survive in spaces where I was the only Black person or the only Black male and student, and who constantly felt like judged or watched or compared to. Um, my coping, I guess, looks like me staying quiet, overachieving, and shrinking parts of myself, just to stay safe. So healing for me, I'd say is that just learning that I don't have to earn my belonging. It's learning the idea that my worth comes from how well I navigate discomfort. And I'm still in the process of doing this, but I know just going forward, setting my boundaries, naming my experiences, that's how I can heal, and that's how I will be healed.
That was amazing. Thank you. Now, to Jayani, how much of your personality is just for protection?
I feel like my personality when I'm around my friend group varies depending on the person. And a lot of people say I come off as sweet and lovely and nurturing towards them. And I believe I subconsciously develop ways to make myself appear that way, to avoid appearing standoffish or mean just because of like how I look or anything. So people can't judge me without even knowing me first. So the way I utilize my personality is to practically defend myself, so just so I don't fit in someone's fixed narrative of me. And I guess that kind of stuck with me when I was growing up. But like I would say during my past few years in high school, I kind of realized that like I don't have to be in a room where I feel as if I'm not valued and I feel as if I'm not heard. So I decided that like if I don't feel valued and heard, I don't need to be around you and you don't need to be around me. And once people get that, sure they may seem offended because I'm not really for them, but if you're not for me, why would I be around you?
And finally, for Maya, what does joy look like when survival isn't your priority?
I had a itinerary for this, and then I was sitting here and I was thinking about like the last 2 months. It was kind of like, well, the last 2 months survival has been a priority, and to me, if we put that to the side, my previous answer is being able to relax and like not have to look over your shoulder constantly. To see people being different, like to be who they are, but also be who I am, and still being happy. Like I love this for you, but that's not me. But I love me. And then I thought about like the last 2 months and how I've just been sitting around, but I've also still felt joy through injury, through everything, through the mentals. It's been a trials and tribulations, you know. But I sat and I thought about like the conversations that me and Zoe had. We're like really close friends over like the past month or two, and how we reset our goals and how they're so different. Me and our goals are so different. And I thought about, well, like I want to be here and be not complacent, but satisfied, like happy that I did this, like the small things. But I don't want to have to sit and worry, like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. Like, am I going to be able to step into this space? Am I going to be able to, deal with this? Stepping on campus the last 2 days was like a big goal of mine, and I was really happy when I did that. And I'm sitting at, like last night, I got no sleep. I was like, I can't sleep here. I can't sleep here. But I was like, but I'm here. Like I made it onto the campus, and I was really joyous about that. Like that was a big step right there. And it's like the small moments. Like I don't want to be living in anxiety. I think that's the big thing is letting go of anxiety and being able to do what I plan to do. And then being like, okay, well, we didn't get as far as we wanted, but I was still very, very happy with what we did accomplish. And I feel like once you stop comparing everything that you like, comparing yourself to yourself is a big thing. It's not just comparing yourself to other people, but comparing yourself to yourself. Is when I can completely feel joy, not just like, okay, I'm going through the motions, I'm surviving.
All right, and we have some additional questions for all of you, or whoever would like to answer. And just because if someone already takes the answer, feel free to still give your own answer to a question I already asked. So, if no one was watching, how differently would you live? And this is for any of you to answer.
I personally really like that question. Okay, I thought I couldn't I apologize. I personally really like that question because it's actually something I don't live by. I was always raised, by my parents that if you do it right the first time, you do it right, like nobody's watching. So I always live my life, with the principle that what's done in the dark is what's done in the light. So even in the flip side, I don't dull my personality, like if you met me, when it wasn't so cold out or X, Y, and Z, the circumstances we had this morning, like even the way people I met today, the way I talk, I am the way I am. I'm bubbly, I'm bodacious, I'm loud, that's just me, my line, the voice, I've always been known for I like to talk, that's just me. So I never really shrink oneself or change oneself or, move a certain way or hide my blackness when I'm around X, Y, and Z or hold my tongue despite my face. I don't do none of that. What I stand on is what I stand on, because I feel like if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. So I don't change nothing about myself in the front and the light because I want to be my most authentic self. And like everyone amongst the panel been saying, if you can't accept me for who I am and what I give you, then you just don't deserve that access.
I would like to piggyback off of that. So, for me, I'm really the same person in front of people and not in front of people. I'm more so a quiet person, but like that's just me because I'm a shy person in real life. And it's like once you get to know me, I'm really talkative. I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm more so passionate about rights of African American rights, like that we are able to, should be able to show exactly who we are as people, not just what someone wants us to, not just what they want us to be, but how we want to be. So I feel like there should be no difference. There should be no difference on anything. The same person you walking in, you was like yesterday, the same person you're gonna be today, the same person gonna be next week, and so on and so on. And that's really it for real.
Yeah, of course. If no one was watching, how differently would you live?
So, I wouldn't think, I'm not gonna say I don't think, I wouldn't act differently or live differently at all because, truth be told, there's always someone watching. I try to do things, as Zoe said, the first time I do something, I try to do it the best because I always live by, the Lord is always watching you. So, me acting different in front of people and behind closed doors is not gonna do nothing for me because someone always has their eyes on me. I always try to just put my best foot forward, and if I don't, I fall short. We're all human, we do, but I don't think that I would change the way I am or how I act around anyone. Like Zoe said, again, if you don't appreciate or you can't accept how I am, then you just don't need to be around me.
Would anyone else like to add? All right, moving on to our next question. Have you ever questioned your worth because the world questioned your own existence?
I'm gonna say yes and no to that question. The yes because I've been told, so growing up, I went to a predominantly white school, so I had to go to a HBCU when I was able to. And it's been so many comparisons growing up. Being told I'm not good enough for something, being told that I'm too black, that actually came out of somebody's mouth. I am too black, that I'm loud or rowdy, but they say they're saying that stereotype that what they think I am. And that's not how it should be at all. My existence, I am here for a purpose. I am here for, how y'all was saying, I'm not here for a long time, but I'm here for a good time. And I'm here to live a legacy, and then give a legacy, and to let everybody know that I'm here to make a difference.
I would say before I first came to college, I didn't know myself. So I would kind of feed into the stereotypes that people were putting on me, and just, like people being around me. And especially in high school, I didn't know myself in high school, and I would always try to, fit in, I guess, but I was always not the person that stood out, always the person that was just an outsider, outcast. But once I found myself, I found my voice, and I started leaning into who I am supposed to be and what I'm designed to do on earth. No one can tell me nothing, honestly. So, yeah.
I personally will say from different experiences I've had from different environments that now that I've gotten older, I'm very happy my parents let me do them, and if you ask them, they will say that it was a strategic plan all along. But like I said earlier, from 3 to 14, I was at an almost all-white institution, or Roman Catholic. It was very strict. It was very, Jesus had blonde hair, blue eyes. It was no reflection of me in the building whatsoever. So I can say that I grew up very insecure. I would say insecure in myself, but not insecure in my blackness. Because I knew I was black, and I was very proud to tell kids, like, yes, my mom braids my hair every morning, or my mom did this, and I would always, the kids, themselves didn't necessarily make me feel bad at my blackness. Is what they were taught in our household that made me feel bad. And as the talks that I had with my parents, when it made me, I had to understand things I think my other white counterparts at the time did not have to understand and learn. Comments about, my mother was 5 and prepping me for comments about my hair. And I'm pretty sure most little girls who grew up with straight hair, it's like, have to get comments to prep them for if somebody actually touched their hair, tell them no. So I felt very insecure in myself, in the sense of the fact that, like, I was heavier, I was, my parents fed me, like, I couldn't apologize for that. But it's just like everything was attributed to me being black as a child. Like, was I just a heavy kid because I ate a lot, or was it heavy because I was a black kid? No, it was certain things that made me feel very insecure in myself, or things are put upon me with the hair policies at our school. I remember one day my mom and dad had come to the school because I couldn't wear barrettes no more, and they were trying to make my mother shave my brother's hair because he had a mohawk. But the boy that sat next to him had a green mohawk in his hair. My little brother had a mohawk made out of his own hair, and they were trying to just change our hair for the school because it didn't fit the clean aesthetic for the school uniform. But the girls could have their hair dyed pink. I couldn't have pink barrettes, but they could have their hair dyed pink. So me feel very insecure and like, is there something wrong with being black in the way that I appear, the way that I carry myself? Is it not something to be rejoiced? What's wrong with the plaits in my hair? So, then I went to high school, and then it was the opposite effect. I felt like in my middle school I was too black for the white kids, and then I went to high school, and I never experienced colorism on the other side, where now I was being made fun of for being light, or the texture of my curl pattern, or X, Y, and Z, or questioning the way my, you see my mother's very, but all black comes in all shades. So you're questioning the complexion of my mother. So it was the opposite effect that made me feel insecure and am I not black enough? But then I came to when I came to college, I tend to found myself, and I'm very proud of everything that makes up who I am. So I will say that yes, I was insecure in myself. I would say insecure in my blackness, but what was blackness to me at that time? It was in the point of my life.
Hi, I would say, when I was younger, I would say in early elementary school days, there was at least 2 grades where I was the only black girl in my class. And I remember specifically in kindergarten, I didn't go to preschool, but I came to my kindergarten class as the only black girl. And I remember at recess that I was trying to play with the friends I thought I made on the first day. And I just remember this one girl saying oh, you can't play with us. And I always wondered why. And I saw them braiding their hair, talking about their morning routines with their mothers and everything. And I was just wondering why couldn't I be a part of that? I know I was different, I know I looked different, and I know our houses were different, but at the same time we were still young girls growing up around the same area. And I just remember a lot of times in elementary school when I'm one of the 2 or 3 black kids in my class, how I talked was different from them, how I acted was different from them, how I was raised in my household was different, and I feel I was punished for that, and I feel as if I needed to change and conform to what other people did just because I needed to fit in and to make sure I was heard and I was seen. But I feel as I got older, especially in high school, when I found people from different backgrounds, race, and religions, that we can all live together and coincide from each other just because we have our differences, but our differences makes us human. Our differences makes us unique and special, and you don't have to prove your worth or your actions to anybody because at the end of the day, everybody's gonna go a different pathway, and whatever is beneficial for them is beneficial for them.
And just for my experiences throughout high school, starting in middle school, specifically throughout math, I've been consistently the only black kid in my math class. I've gone through the same class with the same 20 kids since I was in 7th grade. And so specifically getting into high school, again, the only black kid there. But now that it's high school, okay, some more black kids are coming, and I'm getting excited about this because I feel now there are more kids like me. Because for so long, going through these classes, people have always looked at me oh, why don't you play football? Or why don't you play basketball? Or just things like that. And I was always trying to fit in with the smart kids because I thought myself smart. Why can't we be smart together? Even with math tests, if I were to get a higher grade, that wouldn't be met with praise and just be met with oh, how'd you do that? Or even if we were just trying to help each other, sometimes I even get pushed back asking my other peers for help when I felt why I just helped you the other day, why can't you help me? And even going so far as with my teachers, trying to ask for some help sometimes and trying to get them to see that I need more help than what they're offering, and they're not trying to meet me there. And so obviously, I've dealt with this like for years, and I've seen other Black students come and go throughout the years, just leaving specific spaces like those because they're not welcoming. And it hurts me because because I've been there for so long, and I keep doing it. I show up every year, and I'm like, okay, nice, like somebody else is coming, and then I see that the same things that I've been battling throughout years discourage them to leave within a few months. And so circling back to my point basically is, us as Black people, we don't have to be in a box to be athletes or rappers or anything like that. We can be the smartest kids of the school. We can be the top of the top. We just have to engineer our environments to see that.
Well, that was some lovely commentary. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add? Well, I know I'm a moderator, but because of how wonderful all of you talking was, I wonder if it's okay if I share my opinion on this.
Yes.
So, ever since I was young, I knew I was different from the rest of the kids that went at my school. I mean, most likely, like all of you, I went to a predominantly white institution. In Kings Highway Elementary, it was mostly white kids in all of my classes. And I didn't realize how much my race and ethnicity had impacted my life until I reflected back on those years and realized how much they truly shaped me. One incident that stuck out to me today, based on what you guys are describing, is something that happened in my 5th grade year there at that school. I remember I had never had many Black friends growing up. Maybe that's because of where I lived, or because or how I acted, or how I talked. But I never really had any. But then in my 5th grade class, I decided to make some new friends. I wanted to branch out and meet new people. And I really became close with some new friends who my teacher didn't really approve of. I remember one day after recess, my teacher pulled me out into the hallway, and she told me to stop hanging out with those kids because she didn't want me to end up like them. I don't even know how to take what she said, but I guess she was trying to save me in a way. She didn't want me to hang out with those type of kids because she thought I was going to end up as them, as a statistic. Because I guess in her mind, they were already thugs or were going to end up in prison. So from then on, I stayed away from those kids.
That's very
And I
sad.
never really tried to reach out after that. I don't know if that was out of fear or out of shame. I'm trying to still find the answer.
Wow. That was sad.
Oh. Okay. Well, moving on to the next question. What would freedom demand from you, not just give to you?
I would say we should have the. Can you say that question again for me?
No, this is a tough one. What would freedom demand from you, not just give you?
What freedom would demand? Freedom would demand for me, so we can all be looked at as equal. Not just to be looked upon as equal, to look upon as one, to be looked upon that we're not different from the other, we're being looked upon. All our blackness is not as different. Yes, we all come in different shades. We should be looked up as one. Just because someone is lighter don't mean they better. Just because someone is darker don't mean they meaner. Just because somebody has longer hair or longer curls, don't mean they're prettier. Don't mean anything. That's just something that they take. Just because, there's another one. Just because a dog just because it can be a white dog and a black dog. Just because a white dog they want to give to a kid, don't mean they want it. Just because it's given to someone, they don't want it. Freedom is to be able to express who you are as a person, to be able to walk down the street not being judged, to be able to be you, and only you. Not to be a stereotype that all black people will end up in jail, all black males will end up in jail, that only time you can see a black man wearing a suit is during court. Nope, that's just something that they want. So I demand that for everybody to look upon us. We could be dressed, we could be presidents, mayors, police officers. We could be looked upon as whatever our heart desires. That's what I demand freedom for.
Freedom demands respect, integrity, love. You being intentionally you. Freedom cannot give you love. You have to love yourself in order to be free. You have to love others in order to be free. You have to be intentional with how you talk to others, with how you treat people, because you just being boxed up is not going to give you freedom that you think is going to give you. You actually putting yourself out there, being respectful to someone, walking in a room with your head held high, talking to others, being respectful, being generous, being caring. You can, but I can't just walk past someone and not say hello, good morning. Like, you don't know who you're walking past. You don't know what opportunity can be waiting for you on the other side of the door. So in order for you to genuinely be free, you have to love yourself. You have to know and be comfortable within yourself so you can love others with the same love that the Lord gives you and the same love that you should love yourself with. True freedom is love and you just being caring, not you being to yourself or you hang with the same people because they fit the same stereotype as you. True freedom is you putting yourself out there and talking to someone who doesn't look like you, talking to someone who did not come from the same place as you. True freedom is knowing that you are not the only person in the world that looks like you, and you are not the only person in the world that has the same thoughts as you. Someone can look totally different, but have the same goals and morals as you.
To me, freedom demands two sides of me. It demands, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was so close. It demands my voice, fight, and intention, like she said. But it also demands nurture, it demands patience. To be physical, we may have gotten our physical freedom, but freedom is like a continuous fight. We're not completely mentally free. We're not emotionally free. There's still things that we have to let go of and let go and let God, honestly. How would we say it?
To piggyback off of my counterparts, I was more so interpreting the question in a tangible sense. I feel like there's so much personalization of it, like when someone thinks of like freedom, like that is like to each their own, what makes you feel free. But I was thinking about like as a black person, like tangible. I feel like freedom for black people, I feel like needs to come with change, but also like understanding and remembrance of what was done to us. I feel like every 10 years there's a new wave of the BLM movement, let's free the unloading the bear of the oppression that people of color are going through X, Y, and Z. And I feel like every time people talk about something that's in the past, it's max 50 years old, it's spoken of as if it's folklore, as if it's forgotten, or as if it's so old and so removed from what we have right now. And if you look at pictures of MLK, they're always in black and white, and there's 1,001 photos of him in color. But if you think black and white is farther back in time than it is color photos. And I feel like true freedom comes from change, but not forgetting what you're changing from, or what we're trying to remove ourselves from as like people. And like I'm thinking like freedom in America as a Black person, it's like we're constantly fighting for freedom and also freedom for others. And I just want a moment to feel free myself where I'm not leading the movement or something where it's not on the back of Black people, with the current situation right now with ICE that's going on. And you'll look on social media, people are turning to the BLM movements and other Black people and other people who did notable things in the Black community for our personal freedom. Why aren't you free everybody else? And I feel like true freedom for a Black person is just to sit back and not have to carry the weight of everything in your back. I feel like Black people carry so much generational pain, trauma, hurt, and I feel like true freedom for us is change, and it being permanent change, and not 25 years later, our grandchildren is fighting for something that we fought for that's not getting undone.
Would anyone else like to add anything?
I think just to piggyback off of her, freedom requires the reinstatement of DEI. I feel like DEI was something saying that. Sorry, you're fine. Thank you for that. DEI was saying, I'm not here because I'm not qualified. I'm here because I'm qualified, and because I'm a minority, and so this company can be diverse like our world is. DEI was never a ticket to give underqualified Black people or minorities jobs. That's not what it's for. DEI actually helped white women, for the most part, more than they helped Black people. Yeah. But that's what I think freedom requires. We need to reinstate these things that the current administration is trying to pull back. Why are we going back in time? Why are we going back in time? I don't get that. But that's what I think freedom requires.
To piggyback off of what Ford was saying, I would also think affirmative action needs to play a part in this because they're trying to get rid of that too. And I feel like affirmative action was there because we weren't even thought of when we were applying to colleges and everything. And the reason why we have tuition today is because they were trying to keep us out of colleges. So I feel like getting rid of affirmative action, DEI, it's just like getting rid of like one of our chances to better ourselves, to advance further and not fit in the narrative they already have of us. And I believe that freedom to me is like us not being treated as an afterthought and just being thought of as a person, rather than like someone we just throw in just for diversity, just for looks and everything. So we don't have to worry about, oh, someone's taking a picture because we look like a diverse friend group, so we can put it on the cover page. Make it seem like, oh yeah, we accept people. We love our people of color. We love people of all religions and all races. When they don't really do anything for us, they don't even really advocate for us. And I feel like we really need to be in a world where like we can be really adaptable to whoever is in charge of us and stuff.
All right, now I want to invite everyone, panelists and the audience, to reflect quietly or come up and share if you're moved. Think about this question first. What part of yourself have you been defending instead of embracing? Yeah.
When I'm on trial, so I don't have anything to defend. And so I don't defend anything, by the way. I'm comfortable in my skin, which in some cases makes other people uncomfortable. And as the youth have emphasized in different ways. It's the same thing. We don't have to change to please anybody. We don't have to genuflect to make someone else feel comfortable or to make them feel more empowered because they're insecure. So me personally, in my everyday, same thing I pass on to my daughter and my nieces, my nephews. Just by being who I am, I embrace who I am. I like who I am. Everyone has flaws, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the basic core and character of who I am as a man first, wrapped in black skin, which I love, right? And so I embrace every part of me. I embrace my crown, which is my hair. I embrace my complexion, right, which is a reflection. I embrace my core values that my parents instilled. I don't have anything to apologize, ever. Now that's offensive to some people, because they do want often, and then listen, I'm just be real with you, as a black man, I'm not a threat to some because they think I might harm them, though some of them may think that, but I'm a threat to many because of who they perceive me to be as my intellect, not someone they can, to be controlled, manipulated, easy malleable, intimidated. And so that's where the intimidation comes from. But you know what, I'll take that, because I want to be who I am. Regardless, I'm here to be an example in the community, right? My own family and in the broader community, and light. Christ is my Savior, by the way. And to be that light in the community that I need to be. And this does not mean that I think that every person whose skin is not as melanated as ours is a racist or prejudiced, but it's so much of it permeates our society. And we're bragging about 250 years in this country. And yes, we've accomplished some great things, but yet we are still suffering from the same malady of racism. Think about that. This cancer that has metastasized. It was in remission, but now it's come back with vengeance. It's cancer. It is racism, right? So no, I'm not going to fade into the background or shadows. I'm going to stay up front. I'm glad we have our youth, these hearts and minds you're hearing today, right? And we have to stand together. To me, in my mind, there's no generational gap, except the one we may perceive in our own selves, right? That is the only gap. And so, no, to the answer to the question, I don't shrink back. I don't have anything to defend. I'm going to be me. And if me being who I am with both ends, well, the problem's not with me.
If I just may say, I'm truly moved as we are here in this room over the young people who, with their energy, with their intellect, with their personal stories, you all are truly an inspiration to us. And so I just want to say thank you so much for doing this today. We really enjoyed your stories. I mean, I am so touched. So I just wanted to say thank you to the young people for sharing.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. At 65 and a half. I can identify with all y'all. My name is Denise. And what was the question again? Like they just said.
What part of yourself have you been defending instead of embracing?
Well, I heard the panel speak, and freedom, fitting in in life. You know, from this age now and going back and looking over my life. My father was white and my mother was black. I used to go to school, they used to call us war babies, you know. Last name was Randolph, I turned red like, you know, they used to call me Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And you know, as we as kids, we say some harsh stuff. And then you believe that it's the truth inside of you. So with that void, I had found other things to fill that void that wasn't very conducive to my life. You know, I've been recovering now for 21 years here. You know, I'm a veteran. You know, I ran mostly all my life from life. Only one day, it comes a day when you have to confront yourself. You know, where do you really fit in? And you talk about finding freedom within. You know, finding where you need to be really, you know, of your character, of your integrity, and everything else. And you know, as I was walking here, I almost fell out of my car. And the one young guy came up and said, "Ma'am, can I help you?" He said, "We all need help." It wasn't until someone saw in me what I didn't see in myself to embrace me in love was I able to become the woman I am today. So I just want to thank y'all for reminding me of my grandkids that I see that have some difficulties in life of where they fit in and the good, bad, and difference in them. You know, I just had an 11-year-old grandson that was convicted of harassment and bodily harm. But they're dominating enough, but we're not even going to go there because people are people. I come to accept who you are, but most of all, you got to come accept who you are. And I can see his movement of how he's moving. You know, and sometimes it makes me very angry, sometimes it's very rewarding, and sometimes it's very upsetting. You know, to let him know that I can be a beacon of hope for him. You know, but hey, I just hope and pray that one day, as I see you young people are, that the same will be given to my grandson through prayer. And I just want to thank you all for that because y'all gave me hope to deal with him differently. You know, thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
So I don't want to come up to the podium, but I would dare to say I've been fighting to defend our future. As the panelists have been saying, they had to jump through hoops and take direction. They weren't free to be themselves. They're our future. They're who we're leaving, whatever state the world will be in when we leave. We're leaving it to them. So fighting for the future for them is my priority. I believe that you're the head and not the tail, that you're above and not beneath, that you are chosen, you are special, and because of you, our future will be all right, because you're coming into it. Thank you for who you are and where you stand. I want to thank you. Thank you for the courage to speak out. Thank you for sharing with us all of you. I sat here next to my baby, 36-year-old baby, nonetheless, with a sense of pride, as Madam President spoke and said, you are our future and you are that, you are the best part of who we are. I'm a firm believer that destiny and purpose is locked up in all of us but you. We say you are our future, and I say our future is now. For when you were pulled from the loins of your fathers and sat in the wombs of your mothers, God had already established, written, put a period on it.
Thank you for watching and to subscribe, comment, share, and like. Bye-bye.
Say that we were here for such a time as this. Continue to